Welcome to the Publish Creator Podcast, the show where books become brands and creators become CEOs. I'm your host, Rodney Washington, a book coach, brand strategist, and founder of the Published and Thriving movement. If you're an author, coach, or content creator with a book, or even just an idea, this podcast will show you how to turn it into a thriving offer, a loyal community, and a lasting legacy. Each week, I'll share real-world strategies, inspiring success stories, and behind-the-scenes coaching to help you build momentum, whether you're just publishing your first book or ready to expand into courses, memberships, and more. Because publishing isn't the end of the journey, it's the launch pad. Let's build your brand, multiply your impact, and create the freedom you deserve. Enjoy today's episode. Alrighty. Thank you so much, and welcome back to another episode of the Publish Creator Podcast. I am here today with Rosetta Wood, who is the author of a new book that I'm not quite sure if it's new or if it's been out for a minute, but I'm going to say it's a new book. And it's called The Miracle of Changing Leaves. And we're going to be talking to Rosetta today about that beautiful new book. It's an illustrated book. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to learn a lot about how she has, as an educator, how she has taken her passion and her mission for nature and teaching young people about that in the education system. So today, thank you so much for joining me, Rosetta. How are you today?
Very good. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you for coming. So let's tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, and what inspired what you're doing today with your book?
Okay, I will. Many children struggle to understand the life cycle of a tree. My book, The Miracle of Changing Leaves, A Journey Through Seasons, makes this simple, visual, and engaging. I am Rosewood, the author, and in just 10 minutes, young readers can learn how to grow a tree, how a tree grows, how a tree changes, and prepares for each season. My book turns a complex science topic into a joyful learning experience that children can understand and remember. For more than 25 years, I have worked with children from many different backgrounds, helped them grow academically, and inspiring them to love learning through reading books. I discovered my passion for writing during my 7th year of teaching 4th grade at a private Christian school in New Jersey. Although I loved the classroom, and I began to feel burned out and realize I could use my teaching strengths in new ways. Combining my business administration degree with my early childhood education classroom certificate, I developed my own entrepreneurial approach, teaching reading, writing, and creating educational material for young learners. My love for nature, my curiosity about the seasons, the process of photosynthesis, the life cycle of a tree, and the joy I saw on children's faces and eyes during science lessons inspired me to write my first nonfiction children's book. Today, my mission is to empower children to understand what they are learning, to believe in themselves, and to see the beauty and purpose in the world all around them.
I grew up with the Educator. My mom's the Educator, and we don't think a lot about the way that our children are being able to experience the world. I mean, a lot of times we think in terms of being in a classroom and just reading a book or having lessons given to them and then reciting things back to them. But what you're doing in actually being out in nature, actually having children actually walk through the process of what that means to do, like how a tree actually forms, and teaching children about that is so much more experiential. And I think it deepens the learning for them. Has that been your experience with people who have either purchased the book or just in your own personal experience with the children that you've worked with?
Yes, it has. It has. And the inspiration for this story grew out of 25 years of teaching and taking my students on field trips
Mm.
where their natural curiosity amazed me. No matter where we went, especially during the autumn months, children asked big questions about nature,
Mhm.
why leaves change colors, how trees grow, and what happens during each part of a tree's life cycle. Their excitement stayed with me and planted the seed for this book. One unforgettable moment happened during a field trip to Merle Creek Reservoir in New Jersey. My students watched a woodpecker peck a tree um, with focus and for nearly 2 minutes. When I realized we were standing there, when the woodpecker realized we were standing there, it flew away.
Oh,
Yeah, many students laughed, asked questions, and talked about that moment all day. The woodpecker was tapping that tree like it forgot its pin number. Yes, and this simple encounter reminded me how powerful nature is as a teacher. Children learn best when they can observe real life. Those experiences spark the ideas to create a book, a story that explains the natural process in which young readers can understand and enjoy.
mhm. You know, you said something a second ago that I haven't heard a lot of people say. I grew up, I'm 62, and I grew up in an era of field trips. I don't have children or grandchildren, so I don't know that a lot of public school systems, they don't do that anymore. But I know how much a field trip meant to me growing up, being taken to art galleries and museums and live theater, growing up in Texas in the 70s, how much that impacted me to this day. And I have recently learned, well, not so recently, but somewhat recently learned that public schools don't do the field trips, which I think is a shame and it's a huge missed opportunity for our youth. In the case of people who perhaps have children who would have your book, how can their guardian, parent, whomever, how is there any recommendations you have for how you can take your children out on your own, field trips and explorations and teach them about nature?
Yes, you can go to, yes, you can go to the local parks. There's a lot of parks, and they're free to enter. So that's a good idea. Now, I created this book for children ages 7 to 11, their
Okay.
families, and the educators who support their learning. I wrote it for curious young readers who love to explore and notice small details,
Mhm.
asking questions about the world that they live in. They are growing and changing themselves. And I wanted them to have a visual way to understand that growth. Just like leaves change to the seasons, I recently watched a movie called Sarah's Oil about
Mhm.
an 11-year-old girl who made a hidden discovery beneath barren land. I connected with that idea in my book. The hidden
Mhm.
discoveries are inside the leaves. Beneath the autumn colors is real science, chlorophyll, photosynthesis, oxygen, and quiet transformation. Just as Sarah discovered what was beneath the soil, I want young readers to discover what is happening beneath the surface of the natural world. As an educator, I hope children walk away from this story with a deep respect for trees, nature. Um, Trees are not just backgrounds, they are living systems that give oxygen, shade, beauty, and light.
Mhm.
When students learn photosynthesis in a simple way, they begin to appreciate how important are today. I want children to understand that trees take in sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and turn them into food and fresh air. That is a miracle happening above their heads. And I want readers to know their own growth reflecting in a cycle life of a tree. Just as a tree changes and becomes stronger, so do they. If children finish the scientific knowledge and acquire a greater appreciation for nature, then the story, my book, job has been done.
Let me ask you a little bit about your creative process. What was the process like? When did you start writing the book, the illustrations? How did all of that evolve?
Oh, thank you for asking. The creative process began with writing. I spent several years developing the story because I knew exactly what I wanted to write about. Autumn, my favorite season. I also knew that the beginning, it would be a children's picture book with a clear vision. Getting the words just right was my biggest challenge. I rewrote the manuscript many times.
Mm,
Um, I changed the title maybe 4, maybe 5 times
okay.
before it was perfect. Once I was writing the solid manuscript, the illustration followed. The artwork was guided by the story because I already knew the colors I wanted to use, the emotions I wanted to express, the feelings of autumn I wanted to capture. In 2024, I self published my first nonfiction children's book, and it was a proud moment that showed me creativity takes patience, persistence, and very hard work.
What was the most rewarding part about putting all of that together?
I got to think about that. That's a good question.
Mhm.
Um, Let me see. Uh, the idea of putting it together was, I would say, the season changes connected deeply with me, with my personal life
Mhm.
and my work as an educator. Every season brings lessons and growth. One of my favorite childhood memories was visiting Miss Dorothy's apple tree with my brother.
Mhm.
We watched the tree branches grow. We waited for the yellow leaves. We played under that tree, shook apples down from that
Oh.
tree, and those moments taught me collaboration, patience, and joy. Growth happens with others, not alone.
Mhm.
As an educator, students grow in seasons. They learn by sharing ideas, exploring nature, and connecting with others.
Mhm.
As a creator, my childhood memories, my teaching experience, and the science of seasons all work together. Autumn reminds me that beneath change is a deeper process at work. I hope children see that change is natural,
Mhm.
growth is beautiful, and we grow stronger when we collaborate with
Mm.
the world around us.
Some major life lessons in that.
Yes, major life lessons.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
And the most important part of bringing my book to life was seeing children's reaction and their eyes light up that same way Sarah did in the movie Sarah's Oil when
Yeah.
she discovered the treasures beneath the oil. Children look at seeds and realize they could become towering trees. By
Mm.
blending science with storytelling, I saw children form emotional connections to nature, and they weren't just learning, they were caring. Watching students feel empathy for a little seed was the greatest reward about writing my book.
Mm. What was the biggest challenge you faced as you were working on the book?
Mm. One of my biggest challenge was being told that my book would not sell because of the word miracle. People said it was too strong, too bold, but I knew the word belonged there. The changing leaves was a miracle. Changing leaves are a miracle. Photosynthesis is a miracle. Children's curiosity is a miracle. The word miracle is the heart of the storybook. It represents who I am and what I believe in. Publishing The Miracle of Changing Leaves changed the way I saw myself as a creator. I realized my voice had value beyond the classroom. Creativity is courage, discipline, and believing your work can inspire. I am proud to be 1% of the people who actually write books. I support Arbor Day
Mm.
because planting trees is an act of hope, especially in the world of rising heat fires
Mhm.
and droughts and heavy storms.
Let me ask you this question now that you have the book done. What was there a moment when actually holding that, seeing that first copy and seeing a child's reaction to it? How did you respond to that when you actually had held it in your hand and then actually saw a child interact with the book?
Yes, I had a very heartwarming experience. A fourth grade teacher used my book in her lesson plans.
Oh,
And yes, in a public school system. And she told her class that they knew a famous author. And students asked me all week long, "Are you an author?" For the first time, I said proudly, "Yes, I am an author of a children's nonfiction picture book." I proudly said yes again. And what warmed my heart was that every student wrote me a thank you card. The
oh,
words made it real. That was the moment when I knew I am a self published author and I was making a difference in children's and teachers' lives. So I've had to pat myself on the back.
yes, you do. Yes, you
Yeah,
do. I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, we work on our projects and, again, we pretty much work on it in isolation, although I do recommend personally, as a coach, author coach, that you do work on your book in some type of a community of some sort so that you can get feedback and input. But, everyone doesn't do it that way. But now that the book is in people's hands and you're seeing it, I do want to ask this question though, because it moves right into mission and impact. You said that a teacher actually used your book as a part of a curriculum for a class that she taught. Was
Yes,
that
part of yes, part of her lesson plan. Yes.
okay? All right. Is
Yeah.
that your mission with the book? Is that educators? take what you've developed and keep the message spread so that it's not just you doing the teaching?
Yes, what I plan on doing in the next couple months, I will have an online course
Okay.
um, that will be an extension of my book,
Okay.
and it'll just express more things that I feel that children should learn that are current.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great because yeah, I love that so much. I have another client I'm working with right now that she's created a book on teaching children about money and understanding like even the language of money, like words like assets and bank and dividends and things like that, like things you don't even think about. And
Mm.
her mission is to get that into education systems because that's not taught in public schools. And so a lot of children don't fully understand, what is credit? What is mortgage? What is, what are those things? And it's just such a wonderful opportunity we have as author creators, is what I love to call us, as author creators, because we are creating not just books, products, but we're also creating missions and movements. With that said, how has publishing this book changed the way you view yourself, Rosetta, as a creator?
Um, Creator as let me see. I can talk about my legacy
Sure.
um, as a creator. Um, the legacy that I want to leave is one of curiosity, connections, and appreciation for the natural world.
Mhm.
I want the children and the adults who read to them to remember that learning is all around us and right outside our door, rooted in the simple beauty of a leaf, a tree, or changing seasons. I hope my book inspires future generations to care for the environment, value trees, understand the important role they play in our lives. I want readers to grow up knowing that nature is a teacher, a friend, and a source of hope. Most of all, I want my legacy to be the seed I have planted in young minds, a love of reading, a love of science, a love of trees that continues to grow long after the last page is turned.
Let me ask you this question. Do you see this becoming, starting with this book, do you see this becoming a part of a series or are you planning other book projects on other aspects of nature?
Yes, I am. I'm going to have an extended extension of this book, and it's going to include like the STEM program, which a lot of classrooms are promoting now and school district. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And
Wonderful.
these are very valuable information that students need today. Well, the high technology today, they need this, yes.
I agree completely. What about libraries? Are you in talks with libraries or is that a part of your plan as far as helping to get the book out?
Yes, to the public libraries, yes, they are interested. Everything's about budget, but yes, they are interested. So I'm excited about that.
Wonderful, wonderful. You mentioned Arbor Day. Is there like I'm sure there's an organization um,
Yes,
around that. Have you been in talks with them about, but possibly collaborating with them in some kind of way or any of the type of naturalist organizations?
yes. Well, when they have their National Arbor Day,
Hmm.
which is in April,
Hmm.
I am going to be reading at some of their functions on that day.
Hmm.
So, for those of you that don't know what the Arbor Day Foundation is, I do support it. I support Arbor Day because trees are vital to life
Hmm.
and hope. At the Arbor Day Foundation, their mission is to help people in New Jersey and across the nation understand the true value of trees and inspire a deeper appreciation for the role they play in our world. By planting trees and supporting reforestation, each of us can take part in creating a healthier and more sustainable tomorrow. In times when the world feels uncertain, when we face rising heat, devastating wildfires, severe droughts, hurricanes, and floods, planting a tree becomes an act of hope. It reminds us that renewal is possible. And because of that, my book selling will donate 10% of their earnings to the Arbor Day Foundation.
Yeah, you really are on a mission.
Yes,
You really are
trees are very important.
Yes, that's
Yes,
wonderful. It's beautiful and very inspiring.
thank you.
So, if you could speak with someone directly who's listening to this interview today with you, who has a story inside of them but hasn't started, or an idea or a passion or mission inside of them, but they aren't quite sure about moving forward with it for whatever concerns they have, what would you say to them based on your experience in creating your book?
I would say it's time to be creative, to write. Don't wait.
Mhm,
Start this moment. Start today. Just writing, even if it's just one sentence. You
mhm,
don't have to have a title in the beginning.
mhm,
Just start writing.
mhm.
And by writing, you will inspire someone and you will become creative and realize how much value you are to children, teachers, and the whole world.
While I'm on this subject, let me ask this question. Did you start it with the writing process? When did the illustration portion of it come in? Did you do the illustration yourself, or did you work with someone to do the illustrations for you?
We did it with Canva.
Okay.
Canva. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So when you're doing it visually, like I said, you're able to sort of lay it out and kind of see, but you had to get the story down first, or
Right. I had to get the story down. And like I said, I knew that I wanted the autumn scene. I knew I wanted the colors. I knew I wanted the emotions I wanted to express.
Mhm.
Um, I knew what children at that age group needed to know. Their vocabulary, like photosynthesis, oxygen, air, carbon dioxide. Those were all important things.
So when readers close the book, The Miracle of Changing Leaves, what feeling or message do you hope that they walk away with, and and what stays with them, I should say?
Oh, I hope my book inspires future generations to care for the environment, to value trees,
Mhm,
and to understand the importance role they play in our lives. Trees do.
mhm,
I want readers to grow up knowing that nature is a teacher, a friend, a source of hope.
mhm,
And most of all, I want my legacy to be the seed I have planted in young minds, a
mhm,
love of reading, a love of science, a love of trees that continues to grow long after the last page of my book has been turned.
mhm.
Yeah,
I believe that it will. I believe that it will.
thank you. I
Where can
appreciate
listeners find your book and connect with you online?
it. Okay. Listeners can find and connect with me directly by emailing me at rose@changingleaves.com. My children's book, The Miracle of Changing Leaves, A Journey Through Season by Rose Wood, is available on Amazon Kindle, where readers can easily purchase it and download it.
And also for listeners, there will be a link in the description where you can go and join Rosetta's email list, and that way you can keep updates on this book project and current and future projects, including the course and other things that she's going to be working on. So I highly, highly recommend you start there. And then any other information and ways that you can connect with her will also be available there as well. So I believe that's the best place to start with. So again, that's all going to be available in the description if you're listening to this, either whatever online platform you're listening to this interview on. So Rosetta, I want to thank you so much for being an inspiration, for taking something that I think a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I would say more the general populace, really, they don't think about it. We notice the trees, we know that they're there, but we also notice when they're not there after, especially living in California, where I have for many years. And, we've constantly experiencing fires. And you drive past an area constantly and you see all of this foliage and everything. You don't think anything about it. And then you don't think about it. And then when something like that happens, you notice that they're not there anymore. And well, it is devastating. And what I love about what you're doing and your mission is that you're helping us to stay in awareness about the thing that we sort of kind of take for granted. We just assume it's always going to be there. They aren't always going to be there if we're not aware of what's happening in our world that is affecting and impacting them and us, because we rely on them for sustenance, for air, oxygen, everything you're saying. So I applaud you for your work in helping to educate not just children, but adults about this very important topic. And I wish you nothing but success on your mission to continue to educate us moving forward and all of the wonderful work you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.